Alright, so I'm gonna do another reaction video. So this is gonna be reaction concert stories part 2 by Killbot&GorGorAttack. So check this out. There's the man himself. Okay.
It's time for a round of concert stories, and where better to start than Slayer?
Slayer.
On the second wave of Slayer's farewell tour in 2019, they were playing Raleigh, North Carolina. Ministry was an opening band, so I was hoping to meet Al Jorgensen that night after the show. Slayer's performance reeked of, "We're retiring soon, so whatever." But Primus, Ministry, and Phil Anselmo and the Illegals all did a fantastic job. I found the tour buses after the show, behind a gate with security watching. So me and two other guys waited a few hours by the gate to see if anyone would come out of the tour buses. The two guys were friends, one of them much older than the other. The older guy had a BC Rich guitar with him that he claimed used to belong to Kerry King. He told a story about how Kerry gave the guitar to a friend of his, and it somehow ended up in his possession. Well, despite it being cold, we waited for hours.
Wow.
The only person from Ministry we saw was Sen Corinne walking past us. We exchanged hellos, and he kept walking towards the buses. Eventually, the guy struck up a conversation with a crew member who walked past us wondering why we were waiting around. They talked for a good while, and the guy told the roadie about Kerry's guitar and that he was hoping to have it signed by the band. Well, the roadie took the guitar and brought it in the venue where the band was. A few minutes later, but...
Whoop. My bad. I'll go back to where it was.
Well, the roadie took the guitar and brought it in the venue where the band was. A few minutes later, he came back with the guitar. Everybody in Slayer signed this guitar except for Paul, who apparently wasn't into autographing anything. And when the roadie told Kerry about the guitar's story, Kerry said, "Well, that's probably not true, but I'll sign it anyway." The roadie also gave us guitar picks that were designed for that tour. I was extremely happy about the guitar picks, but the guy who got the guitar was ecstatic. I was happier for him than I was for myself. We finally parted ways in the wee hours of the morning.
I've never been to a rock or metal concert, but I would love to one day. We almost did last year, in August. Me and my dad were gonna go see Rob Zombie at the Blossom Music Center in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. But unfortunately, the tickets were like $100 each, so that would mean he'd have to pay $200 for those. So, yeah, we didn't get to see Rob Zombie. So, yeah, but I still hope to see a band in a concert someday. I'd like to see AFI if they ever come around in here. I don't know. Yeah. So yeah.
And as for Ministry, I would eventually meet Al Jorgensen at the Melodic Virtue Ministry book signing over a month later. Sometimes it's cool to finally meet your heroes. While we're on the topic of guitar picks, the moral of this story is that bands often play with different picks from the signature picks they throw to the crowd during the show. Guar, Toxic Holocaust, Sacred Reich, and Against the Grain were playing Atlanta in September 2019. It was an excellent show. Toxic Holocaust and Sacred Reich just put out new albums, and Guar came out and splattered everybody in typical Guar fashion. It was glorious.
My stepdad told me once about well, we were talking about like how crazy metal bands can be. Well, I was watching like a live video of Rammstein and mentioned how crazy how crazy they are. Like Rammstein does some pretty crazy stuff. Like one of them like includes like that like a big like cauldron, and Till would be dressed as like a bloody like a chef with a bunch of blood all over him. And he would basically have a flamethrower, and he would just what is launched to he would just I don't know what the correct word would be. He would just like shoot the cauldron with fire, and yeah. There's also one where um they have like a big cannon that represents like a um like I don't really like saying the word, but um it represents like a big wee wee. I got this, a big pee pee basically, and it would shoot like foam into the audience. And there's also one where Tail will have like a big like a fake wee wee and this time in I'm in this fan, so it would represent like a real one. Rammstein gets pretty crazy. But he also, and Slipknot's also crazy as well. But he also told me about Guar, how they can be pretty darn insane, stuff. I never really seen anything from like Guar. I never really seen in live videos of Guar at all, but well, I'll take his word for it. I'll take other people's word for it.
Thrown during and after the show, but the masquerade can be a little dark when you're trying to catch guitar picks. Once everyone started clearing out after the show, myself and a few other people were searching the floor for any picks we might have missed. Looking for guitar picks on guar-soaked floor is a fool's mission, but I found one. I found a green guitar pick that had no band marking on it, but there was a design on one side. As I was leaving, I ran into Joey from Sacred Right. I told him he did an awesome job, and he was nice enough to get me a guitar pick. I showed him the green pick and asked him if he knew who played it. He didn't know. As someone who collects guitar picks, I had to solve this mystery. I sent messages to the bands asking about it, and no one knew. Not even the crew knew.
Wow.
But then I did an Instagram post asking if anyone else had one like it. Lo and behold, Brent Ferguson from Guar said it was his. For a band like Guar, you'd think they'd only use custom signature picks. But many guitarists just buy signature picks to throw out to fans after the show, and they play with other stuff, like green Dunlops. But I have a Guar guitar pick in my scrapbook now. Another time at the masquerade, me and my then girlfriend went to see Swallow the Sun. For later reference, this show happened on the day before my birthday. There's a parking lot next to the masquerade that we used to be able to pay cash at the entrance to park. This time, they had us download a phone app so we could pay online. The app asked for a license plate number, and I got out and read it out loud for her to type it in and pay it on her phone. It was paid for, and then we went in and had a great time. Swallow the Sun is so emotional. They did just have a new album out. So, we got out, close to midnight, and started walking towards the car. It looked a little weird from a distance, and then, when we got closer, it had a boot on the tire. I called the number
Why
of the
though?
sticker, demanding they come take it off because we paid for the space. The guy on the other line was like, "Whoa, slow your roll, buddy. We'll be out there soon." Easy for him to say slow your roll when it's so late out and I have to deal with complete bullshit. So we waited in the car for about 20 minutes. It was now after midnight, and I turned 26. I had family members calling me, texting me, and sending me money on PayPal. I should be happy, especially after seeing a great metal band, but I wasn't happy.
Yeah, the boot ruined it.
Pulled up next to us. I told my girlfriend, "Hey, look, don't lose your shit unless I do it first. Let's just try to get out of this." The guy got out of his car, probably about my age, and he had a GoPro strapped to his chest. Suddenly, I thought of all the threats and rage he probably had to deal with on a constant basis, so I stayed calm just for him. We explained the situation and showed him our receipt, and he scratched his head. He looked on his computer, but he didn't see any matching license plate numbers. Then he hit us with, "Oh, you got one letter wrong when you typed it in. That's why we booted you. Let me call my boss and see if we can get the fine reversed." Firmly but politely, I said, we shouldn't have to pay anything since we already paid to park here. But he insisted he'd do his best for us. We waited while he called his boss. My opinion on the guy himself was neutral. He was only doing his job. He got off the phone with his boss, who said, "Well, since they already paid to park, don't charge them the full $70 fine. Reduce it to $50. I thought, "Are you serious?" So I looked at my girlfriend, who made the typo, and she was like, "Oh, I don't have any money to pay it." Guess who had to use the birthday money I just got to get the boot off the car?
You.
whole organization is full of criminals.
Good
My
grief.
girlfriend giggled at it, and I was like, that's not funny. I mean, here I
Yeah,
was
I'd be
fixing her
pretty
screw up.
I would be
But
pretty
anyway, we got the boot off
disappointed
the car, and I started driving home.
if that
We
would
were
happen.
pissed. I was mad at her because I had to fix her mistake, but I was even more mad at the parking company because they wouldn't let us slide over one letter. I mean, come on, this was the only red Honda in the parking lot. That was how my 26th birthday began. I had the Joan Jett song, Too Bad on Your Birthday, playing on the radio, and I screamed along, Too bad on my birthday! I forgave her once we stopped at a gas station and I got some.
That's a pretty crappy way to start your own birthday.
Sucks. The Masquerade in Atlanta had Slaughter Q in 2019.
Slaughter
It was a
Q.
metal festival with food, games, and a lot of bands. The primary reasons to go were Exodus and Exorder, who'd both be playing at the end of the night. Slaughter Q was fun, though there were bouts of boredom when it came to skipping bands that I didn't care about. Then Battlecross didn't start right away because of the technical issues with the bass amp. The singer was making dickish jokes about the bass player, and I shouted, I'm walking, and left. Exorder brought their A game. The new album, Born the Southern Skies, just came out, so it was the first time I got to hear My Time being played live. It was also nice to see the
I've never listened to Exorder.
Marzi was happy.
I've listened to Exodus at least,
especially
though.
after I gifted him a joint that I snuck in. He was a giant pot smoker at the time, and if you're a touring musician who gets high,
Oh goodness.
welcome. Exodus didn't have Gary Holt with them, but it was still as violent as ever. After the show, Vinny said Exodus was just like they were when he saw them at a place in New Orleans called Jimmy's in the late 1980s, just with fewer injuries. I even congratulated him on the new album, since it was Exorder's first album since 1992. He said the biggest thing for him was that when the final mixes were submitted to Nuclear Blast after many revisions, they weren't his songs anymore. They were out in the open for everybody. It was getting late. He had disappeared somewhere in the venue, but I said goodbye to Kyle and started walking out. There's a bridge connecting the venue and the parking garage next to it, and below this bridge was where bands parked their tour buses. I was walking behind a group of Benny's friends. He saw us all from below and waved us down. I went a different way from the rest of them and got there a minute before they did. I just wanted to say goodbye to Benny and leave, but he wasn't around, so I waited.
Okay.
Then, some guy who worked for the venue came up and said, are you part of the band or crew? I guess crew, unofficially. Well, let me see your pass. I don't have one. Benny just called us down here. Who? Venny. He was just here. Vernie? Venny! From Exorder. He just saw us walking up there and called us down here to talk. Well, the band's not here. They left. What do you mean they left? They were just here. No, they left. I was visibly pissed with this guy, and I said, well, do you know where they went? Back to their hotel. I'm detecting bullshit because there was no need for a hotel. There was a giant tour bus 10 feet away.
Exactly.
The guy says, well, I can't let you hang around here without a pass. So I walked a few feet into the alley out of his sight, but I'm not leaving yet. Now I had to say goodbye to Benny, despite what this guy was doing. Benny's other friends finally came around, and then the guy started harassing them. I overheard them give the same story that I told him.
Yeah.
And he threatened to call security to have them escorted away. And they said, well, call them down. We're not leaving. They waited by the ramp, and I went to join them. Benny finally came out of the venue. And of course, it was after midnight, and that motherfucker was wearing sunglasses. But someone in the group said, hey, you ought to talk to your boy over there. He's giving us a hard time. And right in front of the guy, Benny said, oh, he's an asshole and has been all night.
Dang.
The guy didn't say shit. Funny postscript to that story, the Guar show that I mentioned earlier with the green guitar pick was happening the next night. And as security was patting us down, that guy who gave me a hard time was right there at the entrance. We locked eyes for a minute, but we didn't say anything. I walked past him and enjoyed a great Guar show that night. When you're buying goods and services,
I hope I don't get copyright claim for the music in this video.
Goods and services. Anyone who insists that you pay with the friends and family option, and they're not friends and family, they're likely to scam you. I learned this the hard way. Alice Cooper was coming to Charlotte, and a friend and I were going together. A day before the show, somebody on the internet wanted $50 for a floor ticket, which I thought was reasonable. It didn't sound too good to be true considering what Ticketmaster was charging. And he said to PayPal him with the friends and family option enabled. I paid him and didn't hear back from him for a couple of hours. He responded later with, hey, I'm driving. I'll send you the ticket when I get home. I said, okay. The next day, I still didn't have the ticket. So I was messaging him throughout the day. Hey, I need that ticket. I get to the show and I say, hey, I'm at the show. Where's the ticket? Radio silence. I was screwed. But no way was I going to miss this show. The box office had reasonably priced tickets in the balcony section, which was actually not a bad deal. The next day, the guy blocked me. I tried to open a case with PayPal, and they said, well, because you clicked friends and family, we can't do anything about it. I wished I could have met that guy in person, just so I could have kicked him in the balls.
Oh, goodness.
My last story is about a choosing beggar. A guy I used to talk to was doing business with Morbid Angel, so he got 3 free tickets to give to friends when Morbid Angel came to Charlotte. Charlotte was 2 hours away from me. I paid for my Morbid Angel ticket by buying Sharpies so we could all get autographs. But one of the friends who got a ticket had their car break down, so he couldn't drive to the show. Gas prices went up that month, and my truck at the time got 12 to the gallon. Keep in mind this was 2 hours to get there and 2 hours back. And since we lived in the same town, I called him up and offered him a ride. A few minutes later, I said, hey, look, it'd be cool if you threw in $10 to help with gas because it's gotten ridiculous lately. Now, you might ask why I'd ask for money if I was going there anyway, but it was the basis of the relationship. We weren't exactly friends. And his mood changed dramatically. What? $10? But I might want to buy a beer or a shirt or something. Well, why don't you drink before the show? Well, I don't have that much money, man. I mean, this was a guy in his 30s who complained about money, but spent everything he had on weed. Anyway, he was I'm just going to call up some friends an hour away and have them pick me up and drive me to the show. But we live in the same town, and we're going to the same place. Well, I might want to get something to eat. Why don't you eat at home? Or I could bring you to McDonald's. They have the value menu. I'm a grown man. I have to eat to survive. A few more minutes continued of his whining, and then I finally interrupted him. Dude, you're getting into the show for free. Anyway, the show happened. He wasn't ready when I told him I'd be there, of course. And at the end of the night, I pulled into the driveway to drop him off. He said, wait here a minute. He went into his house and came back out with a $5 bill. He said he'd have the other $5 the next time he saw me. I never saw that other $5. Needless to say, that was the last time I ever offered to give him a ride anywhere. That friend who gave him the free ticket also tried to sell him a ticket to the upcoming obituary show, as his band would be opening for him, and his band would be able to keep $2 of each ticket sale. The choosing beggar said, oh, I'm just going to talk to Ken and try to get on the guest list. Oh, they started arguing over that, boy. Oh, well, Ken let me into the last 3 or 4 obituary shows. Exactly, so this time, buy a goddamn ticket. Don't abuse your guest list privileges, folks. Anyway, thank you for listening to these stories. And grind on.
Okay. Alright, so, oh, I guess those are some of his songs, okay. Because I know he has made music, so, yeah. One of the things I'd love to see, Tony do, which, well, Tony is his name, I would love to see him do, like, a tier list video, where he, like, does, like, a tier list. I've done a couple myself. I honestly like to really make, tier lists. I'll show it, here. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this is my tier maker. These are the tier lists that I have made. I did have an older Japanese rock and metal bands tier list, but I made a mistake on the old one. I accidentally added a band that was not even Japanese. Yeah. So, yeah, but I'd love to see him, make a tier list video. Yeah, I'll leave my tier maker in the description below if you'd like to check out any of the lists I made. Yeah, so, yeah. Anyways, that's gonna be it. So that's it for my reaction to Concerts Part 2 by Killbot&GorGorAttack. So, hope you all enjoyed the reaction. The link to the original video will be in the description below if you'd like to check it out. And I'll see you guys next time.